Generic greetings and welcome back to Prison Architect, and welcome to the prison that we've recently finished. This is the workshop prison, for the lack of a better name, and it has a total of 232 prisoners at the moment, maximum capacity being 244, including the protective custody, you understand. Now, we have not yet seen any great amount of issues with this prison. It was originally low risk, which is obviously accounting for why we didn't see any great violence or anything like that. We have had some escape attempts, all tunneling, and now that it's gone up to medium risk and we still don't have any armed guards and things like that, it could be interesting if this thing kicked off. So let's just find out exactly what would happen if the worst were to happen. So we're going to go over to staff here, and we're going to do basically instant riot, instant fight, instant calm, and instant jailbreak. The first one is going to be instant riot, so this is where the prisoners will start booting off, and let's go. So, 200 and odd prisoners have kicked off. You can see immediately we've got a lot of pop-ups to say that there's fighting everywhere. One death already, that is the foreman apparently. That's probably being killed by this prisoner here. And we've got already some of the rooms on the right-hand side being taken over. So that's the chapel and the classroom. We also have, strangely we have a riot in the protective custody area as well. Now, the time at the moment is work/free time. So most of the prisoners are in work in these rooms here, and it looks like not all of them are in these separate areas. Let me just check on that one. I want to see if I did assign everybody to that. Yeah, people have been assigned to all of these workshops, so it's just unlucky that they weren't there at the time. So I haven't ordered any guards around. That wasn't my intention. I want to see what the prison would do on its own. We can see that there is fighting in the parole room here. We have got guards stationed around there as well. We're just looking for the sort of what would happen scenario if this did boot off, and this is obviously really edge case stuff and extreme stuff. What would happen when things boot off? And you can see that actually we've got some people healing the doctor there, but also trying the guards being chased off. They are slowly getting healed, but yeah, you can see that there is a lot of guards just wandering around doing their own thing. I haven't ordered any of the guards to go anywhere else. They are just trying to stop the riot on their own. Obviously they have different patrols, so we do have guards in every single one of these workshops, around in and around the dormitories. We have the guards with tasers and with the body armor. And so far, the only rooms that have been taken, oh, there we go, finally it's kicking off over here. Looks like the guard here has lost their baton and also lost their taser, or used both. Although, to be fair, the baton doesn't expire, and it looks like they've definitely been to some more training, because they are taking Prisoner Ellison here out, so that's going to be alright. And also, to be fair, there's a healer and tank set up here anyway. So it's now down to 47 prisoners riding, 46 now, and you can see that the guards are swarming around trying to deal with all of this. So they are pretty much stopping in around here. Haven't yet had to order any riot guards or anything like that. You can see there has been some prisoners released and loads of people leaving the parole office and such, so they're going to crack on and do their own thing. We are still down to, well, we're down to 36 prisoners there, 34. It's slowly going down. Only 5 deaths in total, which is surprising. Obviously, that is including the foreman and things like that. Let me just have a quick look, see if there's been any. What type of deaths does it say? It'll be deaths in custody up here. 4 staff fatalities and 7 deaths in custody. So yeah. There's only really been one prisoner actually been taken out. The rest has been staff. And we're still down to 11 prisoners rioting, so it could just be pretty much like 1 or 2 people. Oh, it's actually like that person there, so for some reason nobody's going in to stop that. This worker can't get out, but we have, as we can see there, this prisoner sort of going around attacking the door, and they've got a screwdriver there. Eventually, oh yeah, this is going to be the CEO telling us about that. Out of control, put an end to the riot. So we've got a total of 5 hours to deal with all of this. Shouldn't take too much of an issue. It shouldn't be too much of an issue if I just order some guards around there. So I'm going to say guard response to there, and then the guards will come along and go in here, and they're not going in for some reason. The guards are not going in. Let me order them like that, and they should be able to go in. Why are they not going in? Normally they would. Strange. Normally they would head in there. I guess they're just not willing to go in there. And the problem is that if they're not willing to go in there, then we can't stop the riot. Because it's only like 1 or 2 people, if that. So I am going to have to call in some riot police here. So we're going to say probably 2 sets of riot police, 1 set of paramedics, and then we'll bring those along. And then honestly, we'll just send them in. It's not going to take much to deal with all of this. Whether or not we have time to get it sorted is sort of up for debate. We'll have to see. There we go. That's the end of that. Even though these are technically still under control by somebody else, there's no riot per se. We just need to sort that out. So if everything just kicked off, if everything just booted off and all the prisoners decided to riot, we've seen that the original staff members can deal with that. So that's fine. That wasn't really the one that I was worried about, because I expected them to start doing that, and then, you know, with the tasers and the amount of guards that we have, which is 110, I didn't expect much else. But the 2 things that could be a problem is A, the instant fight mod, because they could be around the workshop and they'll get a lot of equipment and weapons, but also the blitz out attempt, the escape one, because I don't know if I can stop 200 odd prisoners just running out the front door or even just trying to jump over the side wall. But, well, we're going to find out. And so we have reset, and we will test out this time a bit of the old instant fight. So this is where all of the prisoners will start kicking off. So click, and you can see immediately there's several deaths there. So we have in and around here all of the all of the different tools and stuff being picked up. So we've got some screwdrivers, we've got some drills, we've got some hammers, we've got Chris there who's fighting, and yeah, it's not surprising that a lot of them. Well, there's a lot more deaths here. We've also got shanks and things like that. Obviously, with it being not having a riot and such, it's not going to set of keys there that he's hitting them with. It's not going to have anything being taken control of or anything. But because it is fighting, obviously there's going to be a lot more deaths. It looks like there has been fighting in and around the protective custody area. Also, because it's work/free time, we have a lot of people not just in and around the workshop, but also in things like the common room there as well. So I'm just having a quick look around. It looks like a lot of these have stopped, although there are some people still fighting away there. Mainly it's around the classroom and such, but the guards are swarming in because they don't have that fear of it being taken over. And the main issue is 19 deaths, which is not great at all, but it's something we sort of expected from this straight fight. It looks like there is some prisoners hanging around here. The guards are coming in, K9 units as well. We've got tasers, we've got batons. Nothing that would be critical for us. I mean, we don't have. Let me just use a guard response to go over there. We don't have anything that's lethal, so we don't have any shotguns, we don't have sniper rifles. We do have an armory, so if that was to be broken into, then those can be acquired by the prisoners, but not the guards. It doesn't mean to say that the guards can't kill anybody, but it's very unlikely, unless that person they're hitting is like a cop killer or something like that. So we've still got some more fighting, and again, it does seem to be around these areas, because we do have guards situated in all the workshops and guards in and around the dormitories, so it's fairly easy to stop that. So once again, the fighting, although very violent, wasn't taken too far. When you consider that we've got 200 odd prisoners, 225 to be precise, now, how much what's that equate to? 11 staff fatalities, 13 deaths in custody. So actually a lot of those the majority were the prisoners, but that's probably not the guards attacking it, that's probably the prisoners attacking prisoners, because that's what the fight means. It doesn't mean they're going to be fighting the guards, it means fighting anybody. So we will load it up now and see what happens if they try and just run out, and I think this is the one that we may have problems with. Okay, so once again, the prisoners are back to their starting positions. Position 1, so classroom, chapel, in and around the workshops. Let's go over to staff, and we're going to say jailbreak. So click on that one, and every single prisoner, you might notice, has probably picked up some weapons, because they will use that to break through the doors. Their objective is not to fight, but it's not to say that they won't. In fact, you can see they are fighting over here. But their objective is just to get out by the quickest way possible, and already we've got some problems, because the kitchen is open to the different prisoners. they are allowed to go through there. You can see, strangely, that the the protective custody prisoners have managed to get down to around here, and the door control system is currently not under control by anybody. A huge wave of prisoners, a tsunami of prisoners, has just smashed through this side door here, and then is kind of running down the bottom. We already have some prisoners, 3 of them specifically, up the top here, and they are trying to get through. Why did that door open? That door shouldn't have opened. I'm going to go for a bang up and actually lock down, and that'll put the road barrier up there, but it means that nobody else can get through unless the door is broken, you understand. So it's put the road barrier up, which is our sort of that's our very, very last line of defense. It means that they cannot get through that by any means at all, because that's not connected to the grid. Let me have a quick look. No, it's not connected to anything. We don't have an automatic door opener on that. I don't think you can. It's only activated when you do lockdown, and that's exactly what's happened. It's raised the gates, so nothing can come through either side. They can still fight through that, you understand, but there's no way for them to... get out otherwise, and it looks like the majority of them have stopped. If I turn the lockdown off, will it continue? No, it looks like we have stopped the prisoners. So once again, it does seem to be that there's no way that they're able to get out. That was the one I was most worried about, and I think that was probably true enough. You can see that they did manage to get mainly to this front bit here. Once again, we didn't issue any commands for the guards. They just did what they needed to do. Most of them were stationed around here anyway. We do have people stationed in the canteen, and they generally gravitate towards the reception, and we had some people outside too. So yeah, they managed to stop them. If, for example, they were all in the canteen, that might be a different option, and let's see if that would change things. Alright, as we can see, the majority of the prisoners are in the canteen, so if we just advise them to instantly run out the front door, will they get there? This is probably a couple of 100 prisoners that are making this attempt. You can see they've all went through the kitchen, and they've picked up knives and forks, and oh my good grief, that is a big wave of escaping hurt. That's going to be problematic to stop. You can see they are charging through there. I am going to go to a lockdown, and that will put the entire facility on lockdown mode, because they are very happily swarming right past there. You can see the front door did show originally lockdown and then stopped because the door has been smashed open. All of these prisoners are not fighting. You can see that they are really making their way to this area here, and they are trying to get through this road gate, but it looks like they're not doing it. What they're trying to do is get past, but they can't. And there's some trucks that have come through. Even though we're on lockdown, they can go through that because it's so close. And they're just going to sort of stand around. And we can hear a bit of fighting there, but that's mainly the guards taking care of business, and good grief. It just keeps going and going and going. I don't know whether this is like unintended, because normally they would smash through that road gate. Like if I open that road gate there, will they then go through it to then start fighting that? Yeah, so they've gone through to try and hit that road gate, and we can see, well, you can hear this sort of slicing and stuff as they are attacking that road gate, and it is taking some damage, and I think it will eventually be destroyed before we can stop them all. Although it does seem to be stopping them. Let me just pause a second and go right down to the bottom to see what's happening down here. There are the same amount of prisoners around here, but strangely with this setup here, when you've got a road gate there and a road barrier with you can't see it, but there is a fence in between, just a layer of fence there and a layer of fence there, one tile. It does seem to be that the prisoners just don't know what to do, and they sort of glitch out. Even though that door was... Is it broken? Is it completely broken? It's 70% damage, so technically that guy's just been punched through it, and that has stopped them again. So even at the almost very worst case scenario with this well, every prisoner in there, and then them, for whatever reason, then charging out, which just can't happen. That's something that just doesn't happen. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't riot, but it's really one of those outliers, an extreme edge case where all the prisoners will just go, no, we're going now. Unless you like manually just removed all of the doors, that just wouldn't happen. So we can safely say that the prison is secure. Now, that doesn't include tunneling, because obviously if this was tunneling here, going through there is relatively easy. It doesn't also include things like people getting the stuff from the laundry and making makeshift ropes, and the makeshift ropes allow them to run over here and jump over. That's probably the easiest way for them to escape, because we don't have a perimeter wall and we don't have barbed wire. But just for the standard stuff, I think we are okay. But what about non-standard stuff? Nice cup of green tea. So in terms of non-standard stuff, there's only really one thing that I can think of, and that is the Samba Special, which gives every single prisoner a weapon. So we've got lighters, a handgun, like a 6-shooter there, a drill handgun, a shotgun, a club. He got the short end of it, I think. We've got more drills. We've got drills, clubs. We've got assault rifles, shotguns, yeah. And as you can quite clearly hear, this is not going to be good. We are going to put it once again on lockdown. We want to stop the prisoners going through places. You can see that they are coming through into the reception and are fighting. Now, we don't have any armed guards, so we are the ones that are at a huge disadvantage here because we cannot. We only have our tasers, and we have our tasers, and we have our batons and body armor, but that's it. But they have, as you can quite clearly see, pretty much all the weapons in the game. Actually, there's no sniper rifles in there, and there's no, I don't think there's any assault rifles, but there are some, like, sort of Uzi type stuff, and some SMG stuff, and shotguns. And I don't think they're going to make it out anyway, because they're going to do this weird thing where they go to the edge there, and they don't come through. Ah, no, there we go. They are now starting to come through this. So there's a brave guard just come up there to try and stop them. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the majority of this will, yeah, they'll have to get out. So there you go. That road barrier there was destroyed, and they managed to run through there. So that is 11 escapes on that one. And then up the top here, the same thing is happening. They are absolutely hammering this road barrier, and it looks like when it gets to 70%, it does allow you to go through there. So we've had a total of 31 escapes in total, and that's probably going to increase as people keep swarming through. There's obviously still some people coming through here, and they're now running down the top bottom. Overall, 43 escapes and 24 deaths in custody. So this is a scenario that just can't happen. There's no way that all the prisoners can just instantly get weapons and then instantly run towards the gates or fight. But even with this scenario, I was going to say it's not that bad. It is very bad. It is very, very bad. Nearly 50 prisoners escaped and nearly 30 deaths within in one in-game hour, something like that. And the rates of both things keep on increasing. But that is a worst-case scenario. That wouldn't be able to happen in... look at the state of that. What on earth's happened there? Okay, it's just look at the damage all along here. All along the walls, all of the clips all over the place, the shotgun shells and all the spent cartridges. Good grief, why in there, of all places? Interesting. Anyway, that has been a bit of the extreme testing initiative on our latest prison. We've tested some some events ranging from unlikely to impossible. There's Featherstone just been tasered. Yeah, so ranging from unlikely to impossible, and apart from this last one here, which is unlikely, the rest were pretty much manageable. And by the way, we haven't even called in any armed guards or any paramedics or riot police or anything. We haven't done any of that. We could, as soon as it kicked off, we could hire a couple of armed guards if we wanted to. We could, and probably would, call in some riot police and some paramedics to station probably just right around here, and they would probably put a stop to that. In fact, let's find out, shall we? Right, so we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go over to staff and then over to the Samba Special, place that in there. I will pause it immediately, go over to our emergencies, call in 1, 2, 3 riot police and 2 paramedics. And these will be stationed right on this front door. That is our hold point, that is the choke point, the one where we have to stop them getting past. We are going to go for a lockdown and stop them getting through. We're going to get these guys straight off because there's already people coming down. And there we go, we'll get them off there. It looks like I have managed to miss most of these, which is a shame. Let's get them all down there. There is some people that have charged past there, but I'm not worried about 1 or 2. I really need to hold the breach, basically, do a Helm's Deep, and make sure that they stay where they are. You can see that they are getting hit, but because these guys are melee, and there's no slowdown here, there's not much happening. It looks like we are managing to hold the majority of them off, but you can see that a lot of these guys, William, most of them a generic last name. What? Generic last name. Prison number 5543066. Nice. Right, so it looks like even calling in the riot police, look at that. Look at the state of that. That is absolutely insane. If we cancel all of those and then bring them back in. We can probably hire some new ones there, emergency in 1, 2, 3. Even doing that, it's probably not going to stop them all. In fact, we're pretty much onto the same amount. So yeah, actually, even calling in the right police, it does help. Don't get me wrong. It's not like something that's totally noticeable. But yeah, I mean, we've pretty much half the escapes. So I mean, there's that. Either way, this would never happen. So I'm not gonna lose too much sleep about it. But it's been interesting finding out just what would happen if all this did kick off. Which, although it's interesting to find out what would happen, it's also quite gruesome. And yeah. Anyway, that has been about the Extreme Testing Initiative. Hope you have enjoyed this little mess around. If you want to see more of Prison Architect, more of this sort of thing, or just whatever stuff in general, then by all means let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.